I'd be lying if I said that Jose Mourinho wasn't one of my favorite managers of all time. I do get a lot of inspiration from him because of the simple fact that he was never a professional player. And if he was, he just never did it at a high level. So he never played in the elite of soccer. So that made him becoming a manager mean a little bit more. And it showed that you definitely don't have to play the game to understand it, and he understands it very well. But as you all know, Jose Mourinho took a year off from managing for whatever reason. I guess he just needed some time off. He needed to reinvent himself, and he was on TV. He was an analyst. He did a lot of appearances, interviews, and he seemed a lot happier. We saw something from Jose Mourinho that we had never seen, and that was a smile. He was smiling, he was happy, he was joking. He seems like a pretty cool dude, actually, to be completely honest. He seems like a cool dude. Excuse me. But there came a time where we're like, all right, Jose, are you going to manage, or are you just going to be in front of a camera now? What are you going to do? And then finally, in November of this past year, Jose Mourinho was appointed as manager of Tottenham Hotspur, which at the time was like controversial. Right now, it's very controversial. It's not just kind of like controversial. It's very controversial. Jose Mourinho was appointed after Mauricio Pochettino was sacked after, I believe it might have been a Champions League game or a Premier League game. It was probably during the international break. Regardless, Mauricio Pochettino was sacked. In came Jose. And Jose, for whatever reason, he seemed even more gracious. He seemed even more happy. He was talking very well about Mauricio Pochettino. The first question that they asked him in that press conference that he gave after his first training session as Tottenham Hotspur manager, it was like, you know what? I'm not here to change much. I respect what Pochettino did. I am very happy for him. I wish him nothing but the best. And he was just talking about him very well. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. He usually talks bad about all of his opponents. But anyway, Jose Mourinho, the new one. Not so much the special one. The new one. The reinvented one. Or so we thought. Because those first few games, his teams were scoring a lot. His teams were fun to watch. So not only did his personality shift a little bit, but his tactics changed. If you guys are aware of who Jose Mourinho is as a manager, he's a very defensive manager. He prioritizes the defensive side of the game a little bit more than the attacking side. And that's something that a lot of people aren't too keen on. They don't really like it, whatever. That's his style. Not so much these first couple of games. And then things started going sour very quickly. That has to be the shortest honeymoon phase I have ever seen in my entire life. Because this thing lasted like 2 weeks. Usually the honeymoon phase, like with Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was like 2 or 3 months. So that was pretty cool. He lasted. Not Mourinho. I mean, Mourinho, Jesus, he it only took a couple of weeks, and suddenly Jose Mourinho, the old Jose Mourinho, was back. The old Jose Mourinho was back. We thought that he would never come back because he finally had Harry Kane to manage. Harry Kane, a guy that he wanted to coach for a long time. I think it was like 3 consecutive transfer windows that Jose Mourinho asked for Harry Kane to join Manchester United, and Harry Kane said no. So he finally had him. And it looked like he was going to be happy, but no. It just, it didn't happen. Mourinho just went back to his old ways. He went back to his old ways. The dark bags under his eyes came back. He became grumpy again. He was complaining about everything. The ball flies around. It's like a beach ball. He complains about the length of the grass, and he complains about the stupid managers that he's facing, and he complains about the weather, and he complains about this and inflation and that. complain. And then he started picking. He picked his one player that he wants to bully now. And that player is Tanguy Ndombele. He arrived at Tottenham this past summer, and he might be on his way out. I mean, who knows? Who knows how that relationship gets? But he picked on him because he's never healthy. He's like, oh, well, if this guy's never healthy, this guy's always injured. How can I count on him? Dude, don't do that. I mean, seriously, it's terrible. He puts his own guys down. What a man. What a man. If you can get titles for that, I think he'd be a multiple time champion at bullying his own players. And then, of course, those habits came back and the tactics came back. And Tottenham fans were not happy at all. Tottenham fans are not used to seeing their team drop back so much. And the players, you talk about the fans, the players, the guys who are actually executing the game plan that Mourinho puts forth, they're like, man, this is boring. Well, we don't want to play like this. We want to attack. I'm pretty sure the fullbacks are like, come on. Can you just let us cross the midfield, please? They're not even excited to go to training. There's a lot of reports. Actually, The Sun, their news outlet in England, they reported that a lot of the players are very, very upset with the training sessions because they say that they are very underwhelming and very boring. That's what everyone said about his training sessions with Manchester United at the end of his run there, and at Chelsea, and at Real Madrid. Things just grow stale quickly with José Mourinho. So it looks like maybe he didn't change much. But I was still kind of hopeful. Even a couple of weeks ago, I was still kind of hopeful. You know what? Maybe this is just people that want to talk bad about Jose, people that want Jose to fail. This was the Jose Mourinho fan in me. But then I sat down and watched Tottenham against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. And I saw how pathetic Tottenham looked in the first half. And I was like, oh boy. Did I really fall for this? I felt so stupid. I'm like, I fell for this. I really fell for this. I really thought that Jose Mourinho was a different man and a different manager. And he's not. Same person. I felt so dumb. And that's when I'm like, you cheeky guy. You fooled me and you fooled everyone. I felt terrible. We really thought that you had changed, and he didn't. And now his team, this past weekend, tied against Southampton in the FA Cup, a near relegation team in the Premier League. They tied against them, and now they have to play a replay, which I'm pretty sure Jose Mourinho is already complaining about, or he complained about already. So his team's not playing good. Honeymoon phase is over. What's next for Tottenham? Are they going to keep Jose? Is he going to go? How long is the contract? Is Christian Eriksen leaving? That's been such a big piece of news as well within these. Well, it's been a big piece of news since the beginning of the season. He was supposed to leave. He was going to go to Real Madrid. And, Paul Pogba was supposed to go to Real Madrid too, but that's a different story. And now Christian Eriksen's going to Inter. And Jose Mourinho's like, can you just leave already? You're bringing in too much bad attention. So there's just too much going on at Tottenham right now. And having a guy like Jose Mourinho, who he himself brings in bad attention, is probably not the best choice. Just being completely honest, putting my fandom aside, my admiration for him aside. He's probably just not a good fit for Tottenham. Doesn't look like it. At least right now, it doesn't look like it. Look at the fixtures. 3 of the fixtures that Tottenham has coming up next month. February 2nd, they play against Manchester City in the Premier League. And then the 19th, they play against RB Leipzig. And then they play against Chelsea a couple days later. These are heavy fixtures. Can you imagine if Tottenham loses those 3 games? Jose Mourinho is going to be in the hot seat. Jose Mourinho is probably going to be out of a job by May. And that sucks. That sucks. But to be fair to Jose Mourinho, he doesn't really have much depth with this team. He doesn't even have a striker. Harry Kane got hurt, and God knows how long he's going to be out for. Harry Kane, as much as I love him, he's injured at this time of the year, every year. Something's wrong. Something's clearly wrong. Why is he always injured like in January and March or whatever? He's always hurt. They don't have a striker. Gareth Bale's probably not joining. Steven Bergwijn from PSV Eindhoven, he's probably not joining. So, what does this mean? To me, it means that Jose Mourinho's time at Tottenham is probably going to end very ugly. And if his time at Tottenham ends ugly, then this just means that Jose Mourinho might have burned his last bridge. No pun intended, because he managed at Stamford Bridge for a long time. He might have burned his last bridge towards a big team. This might be his last big gig if everything fails. If it turns, worst case scenario, this might be Jose Mourinho's last big gig. He's probably going to have to go back to his country and coach there. Because again, at this rate, Mourinho's time could end ugly, not only for him, but for Tottenham. Because knowing Jose and his agents, I'm pretty sure that if Tottenham tries to terminate the contract ahead of time, they're going to have to pay a hefty fee. Get your stuff together, Tottenham, because this has the makings of ending very ugly.